Let's talk about those same forces today, how they're operating both at the local and the national level, including the press.
Well, let's look at what's happened over the last 40 years. There's been a contraction in the media tremendously. We don't have as many newspapers as we had. There's less competition. The journalists who are left, if they don't toe the line, they're not working for that institution too long. And the line generally is whatever the major advertisers say, and even more so, whatever the owners of the media say. So it's not about, it's back to the quote, I think it was A.J. Lieblein who said, freedom of the press belongs to he who owns one. And so there's a narrow narrative that's being fed to the people. Now, with respect to television, look, well, there's still a good number of people get their news from TV. A lot more people are getting news off their handheld iPhones and other means. And so there's a diversity of ways to get news. Radio, again, there's been a conglomeration occurring. So the monopolization in the media, which has been going on for, 50, 60 years, works against the interest of the American people. And what makes it even more telling with respect to the electronic media is that the Federal Communications Act of 1934 mandated that all of these companies that started using the airwaves, which belong to the public, had to serve in the public interest, convenience, and necessity. But that went out the window. And so now all the information is corporatized. All of it is directed on behalf of interest groups. And interest groups now that we may not even be aware of are feeding a narrative that, in the case of what Eisenhower called the military-industrial complex, driving fear, and that fear then has a dollar sign attached to it, because when you consider how in the world does it happen that $1 trillion every year now goes to the Pentagon and intelligence agencies, when we got all these people who don't have access to health care, they're having trouble even affording to send their kids to college. They can't afford the housing they need. They're having trouble paying the bills. How does that happen? Well, at the same time, the country builds up this juggernaut, and that's where we're putting all the money. And then we're building a debt doing it. So there's something wrong in America with that. And so, you have, right now, the wars that have been fought since 9/11 have cost an American family of four $97,000 each. 83 million families. So you figure this out, that America has lost we've lost the plot of our Constitution, what it was all about. We're no longer a republic. We're no longer a government of the people. We're government by the corporations, of the corporations, and for corporate interests, which are primarily now driving wars for profit and putting the hopes and aspirations of the American people in the dumper. And frankly, why I'm running for Congress is to challenge this system, is to let the American people know that we can take a different direction, that our national interest is not to be defined as endless war, that our national interest is to be defined as healthcare for all, jobs for all, education for all, and freedom, because we're losing our basic freedoms. Chris, this FISA issue, the not just reauthorization, but an extension of FISA, has given the government so much power to reach into people's private lives. And this election in the district I'm running about is about economic freedom, and it's about political freedom.